There it is. You see, we have things arranged a little bit differently because of the virus, but I want to thank Mario and all the church staff for everything they're doing to let us get back to some sort of a normal schedule. They've done a wonderful job. Thank you very much. The kitchen staff, they have not skipped a beat. They're doing a wonderful job. Rhoda Williams baked the pumpkin pie from scratch. She made the dressing with cornbread from scratch. They did a wonderful job. Can you guys come out here and take a bow? Anybody in the kitchen? Somebody? A representative? Just to say thank you. And here comes the number one turkey. Thank you, guys. It's a wonderful meal. We thank you very much for everything you do for us. Now, all these people are not retired. Gary still has a job. Alessandro still has a job. So they drop everything they can to come here and help us out. We thank you guys very much. Thank you. And on that note, the next dinner is December the 16th, and we will have our annual Christmas concert with the handbell choir, the chancel choir, orchestra, but it will be from years past. How many years have we gone through to put this together? A long time. Anyway, Cindy and Tracy have been working on this thing tirelessly, and we're going to have the highlights from the various concerts. It'll be a great, great evening and some wonderful, wonderful music. So looking forward to the 16th. After that, I'm not sure what we have for January. And in February, I will be doing another program, and my hair will be down to my shoulders by that time. But we are so fortunate to have a wonderful entertainment this evening. Paul, stand up. This is Paul Smithson. Paul grew up in this church. I remember him as a young man. Do we have a picture of that by any chance? Paul's first guitar and typewriter. See the old manual typewriter? That was Paul when he was a young man back in this church. And Paul, we're so glad to have you back with us again. And we have been so blessed in this church. There's so much talent from young people. Tracy Hoffmeister is a handbell ringer, plays French horn in the brass. She plays trumpet. She's our social media expert. Paul is a phenomenal musician. He plays every stringed instrument you can imagine. Lauren St. Louis is a phenomenal musician that's grew up in this church. So we've had a lot of young people come through it. We want to encourage these young people to pursue their dreams and keep on with what they've learned here at the church. So I think that's all I need, Miss Cindy. I've wasted enough time. She says keep going. So... for the program. Oh, okay. So, without further ado, Paul, it's all yours, man.
Hello. Wow. Hi. Really appreciate y'all coming out. Appreciate being offered the opportunity to do this. And I think one important thing we should remember with all of the list of the musicians that have grown up in this church, you know, that stable force, you know, Cindy has been there all these years. And yes, I mean, I know, stop, right? Okay. 91 days politicking down the highway. 91 days under skies of blue. 91 days spent meeting with the people, walking and a-talking in his worn-out shoes. Well, early in the running, he knew there was trouble. With very little money, his race was lost. He could sell out to the lobbyist funding, or he could simply go and take a walk. Friend said, Lawton, what are you thinking? You never get to Washington working that way. But Lawton was determined to meet the people and listen to whatever they had to say. 91 days politicking down the highway. 91 days under skies of blue. 91 days spent meeting with the people, walking and a-talking in his worn-out shoes. Well, he started his journey north of Pensacola, making his way to the Florida Keys. People came to calling him Walking Lawton, handful of howdy, thank you, ma'am, and please. Down tractor trails and old dirt driveways, he talked to anybody who'd lend an ear. Shotgun shacks and old back alleys, he talked to everybody if it took all year. 91 days politicking down the highway. 91 days under skies of blue. 91 days spent meeting with the people, walking and a-talking in his worn-out shoes. Politics today are borderline illegal, a roll and a tumble and it never ends. Rather win a fight than to help the people. Here's to Walking Lawton coming back again. Well, he wouldn't take sides but walked down the middle, rose above party for the people's sake. Never took more than $100, wouldn't back down and never lost a race. 91 days politicking down the highway. 91 days under skies of blue. 91 days spent meeting with the people, walking and a-talking in his worn-out shoes. 91 days politicking down the highway, walking and a-talking in his worn-out shoes. I promise that's it from my political songs, but I do like the fact that, yes, Lawton Chiles, he's, back when the two parties used to actually talk to one another. But anyway, I'll stop. I was asked, since last week was Veterans Day, to work up a something patriotic, so I put something together, and I hope you like it. My country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the Pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside let freedom reign. God bless America. When did I love stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above? From the mountain to the prairie, to the ocean, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. As I went walking the ribbon of highway, I saw above me that endless skyway. I saw below me that golden valley. This land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. Well, I roamed and I rambled, I followed my footsteps to the sparkling sands of a diamond desert. And all around me a voice was sounding, this land was made for you and me. This land is your land. This land is my land. From California to the New York Islands, from the redwood forest to the Gulf Stream waters, this land was made for you and me. Yeah, this land was made for you and me. Thank you. This next song, well, I'm going to start off with some of my older material, a little more autobiographical, and then I'm going to shift into some Florida-themed tunes that I've been writing lately. I said that really funny, didn't I? Stop laughing at me, Larry. It's okay. By the way, this is Larry Ziegenfuss on fiddle or violin. I haven't figured it out yet. He said he hasn't either. This is Joe Ramirez on bass. I've been playing with these guys off and on for about 10 years now. When I first came back from California, we met in a band, and yes, it's been a long time, Larry. Raised upon the preacher's words, remember all the songs I heard, Rugged Cross, Amazing Grace. Lost my path along the way, stood my ground, I had my say, dodged the dogs and ran the race. Left my home, dropped out of school, fell in love and played the fool. Lessons hard or lessons learned. Never could I settle down. Another day, another town, another life at every turn. Every night I close my eyes, and again I realize that nothing's as it ought to be. And then I lay me down to sleep, Pray the Lord my soul to keep, and if I die, just let me say, it's been a rough and rocky way. Living now my middle years, had my joys, I've had my tears, a million memories left behind. But I'll keep on keeping on, pack my bags and move along, and find tomorrow down the line. Every night I close my eyes, and again I realize that nothing's as it ought to be. Then I lay me down to sleep, pray the Lord my soul to keep, and if I die, just let me say, it's been a rough and rocky way. Every night I close my eyes, and again I realize that nothing's as it ought to be. And then I lay me down to sleep, pray the Lord my soul to keep, and if I die, just let me say, it's been a rough and rocky way. But I'm still standing here today. Wouldn't have it any other way. It's been a rough and rocky way. Clark, you could bring the monitors down just a tad. Maybe it's not as loud out there for you guys. I hope not, because sounds awesome, but you know. Like it loud. I gave the guys a set list. I promised them I was going to follow it. And of course, I'm not. I feel your pain, Larry. Not really. Just okay. Once in a while, I'll do one of those, you know, like when I was much younger, you know, all the breakup songs. I don't do those anymore. Now it's just kind of a celebratory. You know. You came to me right in the middle of a reverie, thinking about the days that used to be back before me and you. You came around looking for a place to settle down, nothing like the places you had found back before me and you. We hung out, trying to figure out what it was all about. Drank a little beer and got real loud, acting like a couple of fools. We didn't care, some might even say that we were unaware of anything or anyone or anywhere back before me and you. There's a time when we come to realize what we're looking for is right before our eyes, and when we think we've got the answers, to explain it all away. We get caught up in the feeling anyway. Some call it love, a little bit of heaven from up above, flying on the wind like a turtle dove. Maybe it's a dream come true. I can't say, does it really matter anyway? All I know is where I am today beats back before me and you. There's a time when we come to realize what we're looking for is right before our eyes. And when we think we've got the answers to explain it all away, we get caught up in the feeling anyway. You came to me right in the middle of a reverie, thinking about the days that used to be back before me and you. Thank you. I think I'm going to intentionally pick the one so you have to go back and forth. Love you, Larry. Mean it. There's a cold wind blowing gently out across the great divide, reminding me of yesterday and what I left behind. All the miles I've traveled as I've journeyed on my way have made me who I am, walking down this long highway, this long highway. From the cold days up in Buffalo to the California sun, from the beaches down in Florida, my journey's just begun. Tomorrow I'll be headed out and trying to find my way, looking for the man I am down this long highway, this long highway. With $1 in my pocket and a guitar on my back, I'm moving out and looking for whatever I still lack. I never will forget the ones I've met along the way. They're a part of who I am down this long highway, this long highway. There's a cold wind blowing gently out across the great divide, reminding me of yesterday and what I left behind. All the miles I've traveled as I've journeyed on my way have made me who I am, walking down this long highway, this long highway. Up a little bit here. Right now we're in a state of confusion. It's actually the title of the song. Yes. This is okay, I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, but I have spent most of my life in Florida, so I'm a Floridian. So don't be offended. I'm just having a little fun with the state. This is called State of Confusion. And it's relatively new, so I really have to cheat a little bit here with them. Of course, I now know why Marvin wears 2 sets of glasses when we're playing. We're living in a state of confusion, those who call Florida home. We often confuse rhyme and reason, beginning with Ponce de Leon. You see, he really wasn't seeking a fountain, despite what the legends may claim. He was looking for gold and for silver, he's just trying to make him a name. We're in a happy state of confusion, home of the dimpled Chaz. State capital's in Alabama, but we've got our own Baghdad. We like pretending we're pirates, we party till the break of dawn. We love our plastic flamingos grazing out on our lawn. You know, Spanish moss isn't Spanish, or even a moss, so they say. St. John's isn't really a river, but an intercoastal waterway. Mount Dora isn't a mountain, to tell you the honest truth. Grand Island isn't an island, and Frostproof ain't frostproof. We're in a happy state of confusion, home of the dimpled Chaz. State capital's in Alabama, but we've got our own Baghdad. We like pretending we're pirates, we party till the break of dawn. We love our plastic flamingos grazing out on our lawn. Believe it or not, we've got Ripley's, Casadega, and Gibtown. Florida man and the skunk ape who wear flip-flops year-round. Life is a 3-ring circus, Barnum and Bailey and Mickey Mouse. Barricaded hurricane parties and cannibals on bath salts. We're in a happy state of confusion, home of the dimpled Chaz. State capital's in Alabama, but we've got our own Baghdad. We like pretending we're pirates, we party till the break of dawn. We love our plastic flamingos grazing out on our lawn. We got cane poles and sinkholes and nursing homes, the winter residence of Al Capone. Jellyfish and rays and crabs and sharks and 1,100 million trailer parks. We got love bugs and roaches and mosquitoes, alligators, crocodiles, and tornadoes, and a cozy little spot near St. Augustine, a sandy place known as Massacre Beach. We're in a happy state of confusion, home of the dimpled Chaz. State capital's in Alabama, but we've got our own Baghdad. We like pretending we're pirates, we party till the break of dawn. We love our plastic flamingos grazing out on our lawn. We love our plastic flamingos grazing out on our lawn. Thank you. I shifted gears. That first song I did today on 91 Days, that's Lawton Childs' walk from the north part of the state all the way down to the Keys. That's what that song's about. And I came in second place in the WillFest Florida Songwriting Contest that year. And it just kind of inspired me to keep going with the Florida theme. So I'm going to do some Florida-based songs for you. I'm going to continue with that, and they're not all goofy like that last one. No, most of them, at least until the fiddle player starts. And then okay. This is kind of a, Oh, that's right, yeah. Joe said it's great to have you back. It's kind of a nod to the Trains. I've always liked Trains. I grew up on the Jimmy Rogers songs of the 1930s, and all my uncles played that stuff, and I hated it when I was a kid because all those songs sounded so corny. But then when I got older, I discovered just how cool that music was. And, well, you know, such is life. Train come a-rolling down the wooden rail, made from the labor of the men in chains. Gonna build a city of stock and trade, if not for yellow fever and the hurricane. Yet a little town of Port St. Joe, an 8-mile stretch from Lake Wimico, remains today. Later came a train from Jacksonville, rolling across the state to Cedar Key. Out of Fernandina at the break of dawn, through the Civil War and bankruptcy. Iron Dragon rolling through the swamp and pine, Cedar Key sitting at the end of the line, remains today. From the very first settler to the first boom town, make a little money bringing tourists down. Cotton and tobacco, a phosphate mine, working and relying on the railroad line. For better or worse, it remains the same. Wouldn't have a nickel, but for the train. Flagler needed trains for his hotel, the Ponce de Leon and St. Augustine. Later on he headed down to Biscayne Bay, before making his way to the Florida Keys. Hear that rumbling rolling down the coast, might be the sound of Mr. Flagler's ghost, remains today. From the very first settler to the first boom town, make a little money bringing tourists down. Cotton and tobacco, phosphate mine, working and relying on the railroad line. For better or worse, it remains the same. Wouldn't have a nickel, but for the train. Thank you. You know, turpentine was a big industry in Florida at one point. So this is a song. I was just wondering what it was like to work in harvesting turpentine. I asked Larry because he knows all about it. By the way, you know, I pick on Larry all the time, and he keeps coming back. There's something wrong with you, Larry. And my mom says, stop picking on Larry, and I listen as usual, yes. Longleaf pine, turpentine, boiled and barreled on the seaboard line. Take the pine gum, distill it to pitch, make our wages in coinage and scrip. Spend my pay at the company store, relying on credit when I need a little more. Working every morning for the sun to shine, cooking up that turpentine. Girl of mine likes her wine, but when she's thirsty she'll drink moonshine. Put any man under the table, never met one stronger or more able. She's my gal, she's my pal, and every now and then I go her bail, working every morning for the sun to shine, cooking up that turpentine. Come to barrel, barrel to still, then on a train up to Jacksonville. I'm always singing that same old song. Nights are short as the days are long. Do the crime, do the time. Sorry, buddy, that's the bottom line. Amid the pine and the palmetto scrub, prison labor making vapor rub, working Sidell and be rich. Never ever are we gonna get rich, working every morning for the sun to shine, cooking up that turpentine. Yeah, we'll be working every morning for the sun to shine, cooking up that turpentine. Thank you. A song about from the Civil War era. It's a funny song. I read about it and I thought it had to be a song because, well, it's just funny. It's about a boat chasing a train. I'm not lying. I'm sorry. I forgot my capo. That's on me, guys. It's Larry's fault. It was the last train out of Fernandina, the last train for all those rebel souls. It was the last train for the evacuation, but the first train we know of to be shot at from a boat. Well, it was back in the spring of 1862. Fort Clinch was in danger of Union troops, but before they'd be captured and put in chains, the rebels loaded up their gear and headed for the train. The Union troops arrived to find an empty fort, not what a commander wants to see in your report. But then they heard those rebel troops were not too far away, so they headed for the beeline and headed for the train. It was the last train out of Fernandina, the last train for all those rebel souls. It was the last train for the evacuation, but the first train we know of to be shot at from a boat. The Union gunboat Ottawa was anchored just offshore. They got the news the rebels had abandoned the fort, that they were at the depot and they were trying to get away. So they loaded up the guns and made a beeline for the train. Up Amelia River then the Ottawa did go. They could see that train awaiting with that garrison in tow. But before they even had a chance to fire a gun, the rebels fired first and they were on the run. It was the last train out of Fernandina, the last train for all those rebel souls. It was the last train for the evacuation, but the first train we know of to be shot at from a boat. Let's give Larry a solo. Captain swore the rebels would not win the day. He could see that train rolling about a mile away. So following the coastline, they tried to catch that train. Fired off around her too, results remained the same. The train was rolling faster and that boat was falling back. Each futile shot they fired barely made it to the tracks. Turning west and heading out away from the coast, the last train out of Fernandina beat that Union boat. It was the last train out of Fernandina, the last train for all those rebel souls. It was the last train for the evacuation, but the first train we know of to be shot at from a boat. It was the first train we know of to be shot at from a boat. Thank you, Marvis. I'm glad I found my way home. Okay. All right. Sure. Here's a song that sets the story straight about cowboys. Well, there's songs about cowboys in Texas who long for their home on the range. Get along, little doggies, giddy up, let's go. And it's back in the saddle again. Well, I believe there is one misconception. I suppose we could blame Hollywood, for it seems that the history of cowboys is misleading and misunderstood. Cool, clear water in the spring, Kissimmee Valley, Okeechobee, unsung heroes, mostly at home on the range. Well, it turns out the earliest cowboys were rounding up cattle back east through live oak and pine and palmetto scrub and the cactus and cypress knee. And of course, they relied on their horses, along with a whip and a dog. And just like the cowboys in Texas, there was limited dialogue. The first cattle were brought by a Spaniard, a fella named Ponce de Leon. And as early as 1700, there were ranches along the St. Johns. There's another thing that I should tell you, something you may not have known. They brought Andalusian cattle, the granddaddy of the Texas Longhorn. Cool, clear water water in the spring. Kissimmee Valley, Okeechobee, unsung heroes, mostly at home on the range. From the plains of Alachua County to the shores of the Okeechobee, from the brothels in Yeehaw Junction to the shipping ports by the sea. So while you may sing of your cowboys, immortalize them in verse, there's one thing you ought to remember: the Florida cowboy was here first. Cool, clear water. All right. So take them out on something up-tempo and go from there, or what? Yeah. Okay, let me say, first of all, again, thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. I don't know if you were prepared to hear a bunch of original tunes, but that was the offer. I appreciate it. This is a song, I edited it a little bit, but this is a song about Mr. Diston, a land developer. Traveled down to Florida 'cause he liked to fish. Had his daddy's money to do with as he wished. He bought 4 million acres in 1881. Paid a quarter on a dollar. He knew how a deal was done. He helped Flagler finish building rails along the coast. Trigger in a land boom for the governor to promote. Said he could drain the Everglades for half the land he saved. Turn what's left to farmland for the people and the state. Old Mr. Diston had a vision of the changes he could make, and his commission of acquisition from Sanford to Orlando, down Kissimmee Way, he took what was and made what is the state we're in today. Then he built a town or two of which we can be proud. Tarpon Springs and Gulfport, Kissimmee and St. Cloud. And on the shores of Toho, he planted sugar cane. Many a street in Florida today still bears his name. Came an economic bust in 1893. Left the state in disrepair and no economy. His sugarcane plantation was destroyed by an early frost, and all his plans and promises now seem forever lost. Old Mr. Diston had a vision of the changes he could make, and his commission of acquisition from Sanford to Orlando, down Kissimmee Way, he took what was and made what is the state we're in today. Old Mr. Diston had a vision of the changes he could make, and his commission of acquisition from Sanford to Orlando, down Kissimmee Way, he took what was and made what is the state we're in today. Yeah, he took what was and made what is the state we're in today. Thank you. Thank you very much for coming. I mean, I don't know what to do I? I don't sing you out? Okay. Sing out with? Oh, there's my capo. This is not my tune, obviously, but you guys will know it so you can sing along. How many roads must a man walk down before you call him a man? How many seas must a white dove sail before she sleeps in the sand? How many times must the cannonballs fly before they are forever banned? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many years can a mountain exist before it's washed to the sea? How many years can some people exist before they're allowed to be free? How many times can a man turn his head and pretend that he just doesn't see? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. How many times must a man look up before he can see the sky? How many ears must one man have before he can hear people cry? How many deaths will it take till he knows that too many people have died? The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. Thank you. Thank you. Been great. Thank you.